Hey friends, what is up? Welcome back. As you can tell, we're doing an unhaul today. So I'm so sorry if it's echoey in here. I have my boom stand. I'm hoping that sort of helps with the noise. But today I wanted to do an unhaul because we finally got the office set up. There's still a couple of finishing touches. I'll do an office tour if you want to see it. We, DIY'd a bunch of things in here. It looks really great, but let me know if you want to see that. Today I wanted to sit down and just unhaul some books that when I was moving everything out from our loft area into here, I was looking at them and I was like, some of this stuff, like I'm never going to read, or I've attempted to read and couldn't get into it, or I've already read it and why am I keeping it? So that's what today's video is going to be. I'm going to get right into it because I do have two pretty gigantic stacks in front of me. Now, please forgive me because some of these I'm going to go through really quickly because I either don't necessarily know what they're about or just haven't ended up picking them up. The first one that I have here, it's actually a duology. It's the Blood King and the Rogue King. I think I got these from a Bay Crate. I really loved Bay Crate, but these two, I'm just not going to read. I should put them this way because they kind of more color coordinate with the lights that I've got going on right now. But I just have these and haven't read them, and I think it'd be worth passing them along to people. Same with A Touch of Stone and Snow and A Heart of Blood and Ashes. I think I tried to read one of these. I don't remember which one is the first one. I think it might be this one. I did try to read these, couldn't super get into them. No point in keeping them, essentially. Like they just, I mean, they're beautiful. Like the covers of them are great. They look like books that I would really enjoy, but unfortunately they're just not something that I've reached for. I also need to say that this is going to be incredibly random because I do own a lot of books at this point. So the next one that I have here is Bloom Into You. I believe I read this and really enjoyed it at the time, but I could not tell you what it's about anymore. And the other random one I have is just the first volume of Tokyo Ghoul. I really liked Tokyo Ghoul and I think I want to watch the show, but I just, when it comes to collecting manga, I just haven't been, and I have a couple of series that I am collecting, and that's, they're they're just as expensive as like a normal book. This is $13. So for me, I'm like, well, I'm just not going to buy like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 books I go through these in like a day, so I think I'd rather just borrow them from the library. My Androgynous Boyfriend is another one. I actually really liked this. I'm kind of sad to be unhauling this one, but I just haven't continued with the series, even though I really liked the first one, so that kind of sucks. Another random one that I have here, and I'm really sad about this one. It's got a trans main character in it, but it is Stealing Thunder. I tried to read this and couldn't get into it. I just think that right now, like, fantasy settings haven't really been speaking to me. I've been reading a ton of nonfiction, so this has been on my shelves for quite a while. I think this also came in a Bay Crate. I have like the signed book plate and everything in here. I just haven't read it, so I'm going to be passing that one along as well. The next ones I have a couple of Book of the Month ones. Gods of Jade and Shadow. I tried to read this, didn't absolutely love it. I was really on the fence about unhauling this one because I was like, I need to try again. Maybe I'll really like it, but I've been saying that for a while. So I think it's just time to pass it along to somebody that would like it a lot more. And then I have Anna K, which is a beautiful book. I really want to keep this just for the aesthetics alone, but I just don't think I'm going to read this. I want to say this is like a social light kind of vibe, and I don't care. Like, I'm so over that kind of stuff, like the drama or whatever. I'm not really into it. The next one is one that I read and liked, but I just don't think I'm going to read it again, and I'd love to pass it along to somebody that will, and it's The Ones We're Meant to Find. This book was really good. It's kind of like a dystopian. It's about these two sisters that get separated. The one loses her memory. She's trying to get back to her older sister. Pretty good. Would recommend it. I'd probably like borrow it or something. It's one of those books that you read once and you're like, all right, I'm never going to read this again. So I will be unhauling those three as well. I forgot how many books I had in my hand. All right, 4 more books here. Another book I've read once that I'll probably never read again, and I think it's because I'm not a huge fan of the story that it's a retelling for, but it's Pride. This book is beautiful. I want to say this was a gift from someone, which makes me feel even worse about it. But I did read it, did love it. Once again, not one of those books that I'll read again, and do want to pass it along to somebody that I think will love it just as much as I did. I mean, I like glowed about this book. I did really enjoy it. But like I said, just not going to read it again. And then I'm getting rid of Outlander. I think I'm just a show person for Outlander. This may be something that I attempt to read later on in life, I don't know, but I don't see a point in keeping it. I've tried to read it, and I think maybe because I've seen so much of the show, I'm having trouble like wanting to continue with the book because I'm like, I could just go and watch it, or I'm already past this point, or, you know, whatever. All the excuses you tell yourself when you're watching a show that has been, or a book that has been turned into a show. The other one that I have here was actually sent to me by DC, and it is Batman Nightwalker. These little series that they came out with, there's only been a couple of them I've actually liked. I haven't even read this. I'm not a Batman fan outside of like Christian Bale Batman. Oh, that's not true. I did like whoever the Batman was that had nipples on his suit, whatever one that one was. I like that one as well with like Mr. Freeze and, you know, all of that, Poison Ivy. But I think just like comic book form for Batman, not really my thing. I'm more of a Marvel comic book fan, especially like X-Men and, you know, Wolverine and stuff. And then I have Book of Night by Holly Black. This I will actually be sending to a friend. I tried to read this Trash Can Fire and I hated it, but she really liked it, so I'll be sending it to her. If you like this book, tell me why, because I cannot for the life of me figure it out. Other than it's beautiful, and I know it's supposed to be like dark academia, but the main character is awful. The story, and I have to like kind of think about that because awful male main characters, I think I don't care as much. I don't know if I just like expect more from a female main character, but I like unlikable characters. And other than what's her name from Lila Bard from Darker Shades of Magic, she's the only other not likable unlikable female main character that I've disliked. This is another one. The main character of this book, I just was not a fan of at all. I don't know. I don't even think she's supposed to be a likable, unlikable main character. I think she's just awful. Now, the next one I want to talk about is actually kind of confusing because I didn't hate it, but I won't be reading the second one, so I see no point in keeping the first one, and it's Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. We're not going to stay here. I almost kept this because I was going to trade this in and get the hardcover version because the hardcover version of the second one is, these covers are some of the most beautiful covers I've ever seen. But we are past that. I'm not keeping books because they're pretty anymore. 2023 and on, we're not doing that anymore. And then I have some comic books here. We'll start with Monstrous. I read the first two and liked them. But there's a few series that I'm still trying to collect in Monstrous. I'm not really going to be one of mine. It's like a fantasy, kind of more dark, if I remember correctly. But obviously I haven't kept up with it, haven't read anything else, could barely tell you what it's about. So definitely time to unhaul these. Another one that I have that I've never actually read is Bitch Planet. I may have read it forever ago. Like we're talking like 7 years ago, but I haven't, and I haven't read it. It's like a planet that's run by women, if I remember correctly. One that I really actually liked, but haven't picked up any of the other ones, is this Nancy Drew one. So Nancy Drew and the Palace of Wisdom. I actually really did enjoy this and may read the other ones, but I'll probably just borrow them from the library. This is like, obviously it's Nancy Drew, it's more of like a mystery kind of vibe to it, but no point in keeping it because I'm not going to collect the other ones, and I'm so tired of series on my shelves that aren't finished, so this one needs to go. All right, we are in the last stack, and I do believe that everything in here is comic or graphic novel. So we have Gotham High. This falls into that same kind of category I was talking about earlier with DC. Just not really something that I'm going to read, which also brings me to Wonder Woman. Also not going to read this one. I forget who wrote this. This is Leigh Bardugo. It's like the graphic novel version of the book that Leigh Bardugo wrote about Wonder Woman. I think I tried to read that not the graphic novel, but the actual book, and just wasn't really into it. And then I have the Oracle Code, which I do believe I did read. I could be completely wrong. But once again, another DC Universe story. Not really into the DC Universe. I find DC actually pretty boring, which is sad because like they have really cool characters, like Poison Ivy, Bane, and Batman are all fantastic. And then we have like sub characters that I think are really cool, but for some reason I just can't get into it. I've been absolutely spoiled with like Marvel and X-Men. The other one, this is actually a pre-release, so I don't necessarily know. I'll probably put this in like a free little library, but it's Dancing at the Pity Party. I read this forever ago. I don't know if you guys remember. It's about a woman who loses her mom, and it's like her story about her struggle with you know, like adjusting to that. And I did really like it when I read it, but I think it's time. It would be better in somebody else's hands, I think. And then the other books that I have here are all part of a series, and these are the last books I'm going to talk about today, but they are the Space Boy series. You see how freaking gorgeous these are? I love. So it's about a girl who goes, I think she goes away in space. I don't remember why. She comes back and everything has changed, and I believe there's like a boy who is a little bit odd. I could be wrong, but I really liked these when I was reading them, but obviously I've kind of forgotten what they're about, haven't really kept up with them, but I did really enjoy them when I read them. So I'm actually kind of sad that I'm going to be getting rid of these. I just don't have it in me to keep collecting the series. But also another really cool thing about these comics is they are in all color. So I thought that was really cool. I think that just the artwork alone is really beautiful and almost worth keeping it for that. But I will not be, because like I said, 2023, we're not keeping books just because they're pretty. All right, y'all, so that is it for today's video. Those are all the books that I'm going to be unhauling. If you see any books here that I may have said I haven't read and wasn't sure if I was going to like, let me know. Or if there's any books in here that I was like, I've tried to read, couldn't really get into, that you think are worth me attempting to continue to read them, let me know that as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you so much, and I will see you in my next video.